Why are there so many potholes in our roads? I've spent a 40-year career in the building and civil engineering industries, and I now see a lot of misinformation about the state of the roads in the UK. The amount of potholes, who is responsible and what needs to be done. The media skirt over the issues to get headlines and keep reporting that local authorities need to do more to repair the potholes, and the local authorities respond to say they need more money from central government so they can fix the potholes. This is not the full picture, as I will explain. I live in Derbyshire, which was recently recorded in the Department of Transport report published 11th of January 2026 as one of the red authorities with the worst road conditions in the country. I see lots of examples of road defects, but what's not getting reported is why they're occurring and who's actually responsible. As we know, potholes are caused by surface water getting into the tarmac structure, which results in debonding and expansion due to freeze cycles. Water gets into the build-up through cracks in the surface from either movement or a lack of sealing of construction joints, and then tarmac starts to break up as vehicles load the surface, resulting in potholes forming. In my opinion, 50% of potholes, from what I see, are caused by utility companies and their contractors carrying out poor reinstatement of surface excavations in the highway. Just look at the roads in your area and the amount of trench scarring where they've been digging up the roads. The local authorities like to carry out regular top dressing of roads like tar and chip, which gives a consistent appearance, but if there are faults in the road structure due to previous incorrect backfilling and compaction, then these will present through to the surface, again allowing surface water to penetrate into the road structure. The remaining 50% is a result of the lack of local authority highways or national highways upkeep and maintenance. Continual surface dressing does not address the structural defects of roads way past their design life. This is where local authorities should be spending their money, not attending to utility contractors' defective work in the roads. So why are most utility reinstatements so poor? The New Roads and Street Works Act 1991 is the mechanism used for the coordination and control of all works completed by utility service providers and their civils contractors. All works should be supervised by a person having a qualification of New Roads and Street Works supervisor, and at least one of the operatives carrying out the physical work must have the qualification of New Roads and Street Works operative. The training means they know how they are required to complete the work, how they should backfill, compact and reinstate any excavation in the highway. There is a requirement for local authority highways to maintain a street works register, and for all utilities to notify the local highways of works to be completed and for a Section 50 licence to be issued. The local authority highways should therefore have a maintained system that records who has worked on the highway, where the work's been completed and on what date. If a subsequent fault occurs with the road surface breaking up, then they should have the ability to identify which utility company is responsible, to get them to return and make good the defect at their own cost, and importantly, not from council tax revenue. There is also a requirement for local authority highways managing supervisor to inspect the works on completion and sign off a Section 50 licence. Section 50 licence guidance outlines the standard for reinstating streets after completing street works. Anyone who carries out street works must reinstate the street once the work is finished in line with these standards. The fourth edition of the specification for the reinstatement of openings in highways became statutory guidance in May 2021. The Department for Transport specification for the reinstatement of openings in the highways states the code applies to streets that are maintainable at public expense. In all cases, the performance should match that of the existing construction. Section S324 states excavations must be protected from the ingress of surface water. Does this happen? Section S331 states excavated material to be reused should be protected from excess wetting during storage. Does this happen? NG 10.2 states compaction of backfill is a requirement to mitigate the risk of long-term settlement. The material should be compacted in layers to ensure full compaction and avoid future settlement. The lazy option is to refill the trench full depth and then run a whacker over the surface. Then the compaction is inadequate and will settle over time. Section S687 states that prior to laying any bituminous layers, the cut edge of the surface binder and base layers should be cleaned of any water, dust and slurry and an edge sealant applied to the vertical surfaces. This doesn't get completed and provides a route for further water ingress into the joint. Section S688 states overbanding may be used in reinstatements to improve durability. Table A2.7 states that bituminous material laying temperatures should be between 80 and 100 degrees C for dense bitumen macadam. For small reinstatements, the materials being used are well below these temperatures and in some cases are dropped in a heap on the ground and not used until later in the day, and this results in inadequate compaction of the surface material and a lack of bonding between layers. The main points here are how these excavations have been incorrectly backfilled and compacted, which causes settlement, edges and joints not being sealed, which allows water penetration, and the unsuitability of the bituminous materials. The following photographs are examples of this poor workmanship. All this results in settlement, peeling at the joint edges, water ingress into the road base, macadam layer, frost action, heave and breaking up of the trench surfacing, resulting in the dreaded potholes. Then, rather than the utility providers or their contractors being called back to repair and reinstate, the local authorities take on the responsibility themselves. The utility providers get away with it, and there is no incentive for them to complete any of their works correctly. As long as it looks okay when they clean up and leave, it's all okay. The local authorities then eventually, once the pothole has been left to increase in size and vehicle tyres and suspension components are damaged, complete a poor patch repair of the pothole, which seems only to last until the next winter when it breaks up again and we're back to square one. But this keeps the local authority works department in employment year on year, and the local authority can keep getting their funding from central government year on year, all taken from general taxation. I hope you can now see that there is more to this subject than is being reported in the press. It's more than just saying that councils need to do more to repair potholes in the roads and they need to repair them quicker. What needs to happen is utility contractors need to take more responsibility to complete works in the highway correctly to avoid defects forming. Local authorities need to do more to check and oversee the work being completed by utility contractors. Local authorities need to keep their street works register up to date. Local authorities need to get utility contractors to return to make good defective work. And local authorities need to ensure that a photographic record is taken of all highway excavation reinstatement to demonstrate that works have been completed in line with this guidance.